Thank you all for watching and listening today. This is Healthy Cooking with Chef Keith, better known as Keith in the Streets. And I'm here with Dr. Lamar and Dr. Valerie Hunter, who are chiropractors in South Euclid, Ohio. Welcome, you two.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They have just recently partnered up with Subway to give us a great presentation on their practice and how it is important for our spines to be aligned properly in order for us to have healthy lifestyles. So thank you both for being here today. Now, for those of you who are listening and watching at home, the little bitty voice that you hear in the back is actually is actually their new baby. They are new parents. They're new parents, which is exciting.
And he's gonna make a guest appearance here in a minute. It looks like.
You might as well bring him.
Yeah, bring him. Let him get his debut.
Oh.
Mommy, bring him over.
Look, that's all it took. Mommy.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
And it has to be mommy. It can't be anybody else.
Oh.
Yeah. We have a
All right.
All right.
Smile for the camera, buddy.
Oh. All right. So you can just repeat that last answer, how you got into chiropractic.
Well, I was playing college football, and I was having a lot of different issues. And what one of my teammates suggested was that I go see the local chiropractor. And in my mind, I was thinking what everybody else thinks with chiropractic is that, you know, they neck pain, back pain, headaches. And so I wasn't necessarily having any of those things. But I decided to give them a try anyway. And when they explained to me, okay, this is what we're doing. This is why it's important for you, not just short term, but long term as well. I started seeing amazing benefits, not just, you know, initially, but throughout the rest of my life. So I decided to not only continue with chiropractic care, but to be a chiropractor and to share that message with other people.
So you and your wife both are chiropractors, correct?
Yes.
Yep, correct.
So did you meet in college, in school? And what school is that?
Life University,
Yes.
right down in Marietta, Georgia.
Yes.
Right. So was it love at first sight?
It was, you know, and to be honest, you know,
He wanted to be my study buddy.
We were going to. She knew we were studying anatomy, so she's like, you know, let's make that happen.
and so is your story similar to your husband's?
Slightly. I did my first encounter with chiropractic was in college as well, but when I was in undergrad, so at University of Central Florida, and there I actually started working for a chiropractor. I was a pre-med student. I knew I wanted to be in the health field. I wasn't sure quite in which branch, and so through working with this chiropractor, I was able to get adjusted.
Okay.
Which was great. And so through my treatments, early on, I used to have what's called tonsillitis. Tonsillitis twice a year. And it was really, really, really bad. To the point where I had to miss school for about 2 weeks at a time. Okay, so it had nothing to do with headaches or neck pain or back pain or anything like that. Through my treatments, and after getting adjusted for a little while, I noticed that that time of year where I usually get sick didn't come around. And I was like, I wonder what happened. And the second time around, same thing. Didn't get sick again. And through that, also through working with the chiropractor, people coming in with issues like not being able to get pregnant, women not being able to conceive children, and all of a sudden after being under treatment, being able to have their first child. Or a man who was told he was going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, being able to put his cane on the wall and him taking ballroom classes with his wife. Testimonials like that really touched me deeply. Plus, they saw a lot of children, which I love children and working with children as well. And so all of that really that's where I found my passion. I just fell in love with it. And that's why I decided to become a chiropractor.
Well, you know, I have my own story with my spine as well. I didn't know it at the time, but I had injured myself in the military, right? But I was having leg pains, and I mean for years, like, you know, and so a lot of times I would just have issues with my lower extremities, and I mean just went on for decades, and it was just always just, you know, I thought it was something wrong with my leg, right? until one day somebody sent me to a neurologist. One of the doctors, I was going to see a urologist too at one point, and I've been to a neurologist, and the neurologist said, that's not what that is, So it turned out that I was having issues with my L7, and so I had surgery years ago because it had gotten so bad. It was a collapsed disc.
Yeah.
So I understand that because me and my wife we understand about that because you don't know because they explained to us like what you just did when you're having pain and issues. Sometimes it's your back.
Yeah.
And it's not like your arm or something like that. Sometimes it's in the spine. So
Yeah,
I do
absolutely,
understand that.
absolutely, because that's where all the nerves will stem from, right? So from your brain, it sends messages down your spine, and from there it goes to everywhere else. So that's why we look at the spine, because that's the source of where the nerves originate. So.
All right, so we're gonna go for a brief pause, and we're gonna watch a presentation by Dr. Lamar. So you just sit back and pay close attention.
Well, welcome. My name is Dr. Lamar Hunter. This is my wife, Dr. Valerie, and what we do is we get out and we like to really educate our community as far as what it is that we do, why it's important. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about chiropractic, but don't necessarily know exactly what it is. So that's what we do, is that we get out and we educate people about the importance of it, not just short term but long term as well. Okay, so the way our body works, the way our body is designed is that it's meant to run on a specific system.
Right.
Okay, when your body starts getting outside of that system, it leaves the door open for not only a lot of aches and pains but a lot of diseases and illnesses to come in. Okay, so to look at that, we don't just look at what controls the aches and pains, but we look at what controls your body as a whole. Okay. Currently in our society right now, the United States makes up 5% of the world's population, yet we take 75% of the drugs that are prescribed on this planet. Right? 5% of the world's population, yet we take 75% of the drugs. And as a result of that, we went from being first place in healthcare to literally being dead last in every single category of healthcare. Okay? And you think that, we have these big institutions, we have, all of these medical hospitals. You would think we'd be doing much better, right? Because we have all these drugs and surgery. But in actuality, it's the opposite. We do all those things when we're not supposed to, and as a result, we're getting sicker and sicker.
Right.
And we're dying earlier and earlier as a result of the healthcare that we've been given. Okay? So instead of buying into that system, which states that, I only want to look at, diseases and symptoms, we look at what controls function of the body. And to do that, we have to look at what? The brain. Okay? The brain controls every single function of your body. Okay? And in order to do so, it sends messages down your spine and out to everything else in your body. Okay? So it controls your heart, that controls your lungs, it controls your digestive system. Okay? It controls your immune system, it controls your reproductive organs, it controls everything in your body. Everything is controlled by your brain. Okay? What happens with a lot of people is that this spine, which is meant to be perfectly aligned, gets out of alignment and it starts putting pressure on those nerves. And as a result of that, whatever signals the brain is trying to send to the rest of the body isn't going to go through the way it needs to. Okay? So for instance, if there's interference with the nerve going to the heart, or better yet, if I take the nerve that's going to the heart and I cut that nerve, what happens to the heart? It stops. Right? If I take the nerves that are going to the lungs and cut it, what happens to the lungs? It stops. Right? Stops functioning. Same thing with the digestive system, same thing with the reproductive organs. It's the same principle no matter where you go in the body. The exact same thing. What happens with most people is that instead of it stopping completely, they have what we call pressure on the nerve. And so the function just starts to decrease little by little by little by little. Okay? So you take a person, whether they be 30, 40, or 50 years old. Right? And they start having this decrease in function, and what do we always blame it on? Oh, it's my age. Yeah. Oh, it's, it's this and it's that. But in actuality, it's not old age because, if you have shoulder problems and you say, oh, it's my old age, well, how old is the other shoulder?
Right.
Right? Same age, right? Right? So it can't be age, so let's discount that right now. But it's all about the function. Okay? So what happens with most people is that spine, which is supposed to be perfectly aligned, misaligns, and instead of that heart getting 100% of the signals that it's supposed to get from the brain, maybe it's getting 90%. Maybe after a few months, it starts getting 80%. Maybe after a few years, it starts getting 40%. Right? How many people that we know that look fine and feel fine are diagnosed with cancer, heart disease, diabetes? Right? People that are up walking around just like us, and you hear them drop dead of a heart attack. right? And it's not a matter of age, it's a matter of function, right? Because if you have 100% function going to your heart, going to your lungs, going to your digestive system, what are the chances of any of those things happening? Very little, right? If at all, right? If this room is lit up 100% with light, what's the chance of any darkness getting into it? None, right? Darkness is the absence of light. Just like sickness is the absence of health. It's not the other way around, right? So that's what we try to tell people is that, you know, all these things that go on in the body, the majority of them are a lack of function, right? People don't get headaches because they lack headache medication, right? We don't get heart issues because we lack heart medication, right? People aren't depressed because there's a Prozac deficiency. There's a deficiency somewhere else that's causing your body not to function the way it's supposed to. Okay? So this same principle as far as why we adjust adults is the same way of why we adjust kids. So we just had a baby. This is actually our second baby. But with the first one, thank you. With the first one and the second one of the first things that we did was we adjusted them after they were born. Why would we do that? Okay? Here's the reason. It's because this top bone in your neck, which is by far the most important bone in your body, for 90% of kids, that misaligns right during childbirth. Okay? So these babies are coming out of the birth canal. And, you know, had it been the 70s or even the 60s, you know, we deliver babies a certain way. But as of now, we try to speed up the process. So when the baby's coming out, we're pulling and turning and twisting, right? And they misalign that very first bone of the neck. Okay? As a result of that, what happens? Well, there's pressure on the brain stem. So now when the brain is trying to send messages to the rest of the baby's body, it's not going through the way it needs to. So you start seeing kids with ADD. You start seeing kids with ADHD. You start seeing kids with ear infections. Right? Difficulty to breastfeed. You start seeing them with all these things, and then what do we do on top of that? We give them pills and medication. Right? We put tubes in the kids' ears. Right? We do all these different things that we shouldn't do. What we should look for is, instead of treating those symptoms, we should treat the cause of it. Okay? And a lot of times we trace that cause right back to that first bone of the neck, because when that shifts, it allows the door open for them to not only have ear infections, but puts a ton of pressure on their brainstem. Okay? Anybody familiar with Christopher Reeve? Yes. Know who he is? Superman? Oh, yeah, old school Superman? Yeah. So what happened with him is that he injured this bone in his neck. As a result of that, the rest of his body literally started to shut down instantly. So he needed a monitor for his heart. He needed a monitor for his lungs. He needed a bag for his digestive system. His whole body started to shut down just from him injuring that top bone in his neck. Right? Putting pressure on the brainstem, his brain's no longer able to communicate to the rest of his body. Okay? With him, it was a sudden decline, right? Because the impact and the trauma was so significant. With us, it's a much more gradual decline, right? And so we get to the point where, you know, we start having these aches and pains and things that have been there, these misalignments that have been in our spine for years and years, and then we suddenly start to notice them. And we say, you know, this back pain is starting to get to me. It's been that way for 3 days, but we know in actuality, the issue that's been there has probably been there for years and years and years. And that's why we get out and educate people. Because had it not been for somebody educating me, I would have still been doing the same thing as far as my health and as far as my family's health. So we get out and educate people to say, hey, even in the absence of symptoms, we should still look at your body, check it out, and see how it's functioning. Okay? Because if we have 100% function of your body, chances of you having any of those weird things, any of those diseases, any of those sicknesses, whether you're 5 years old or 50 years old, is decreased significantly, if not completely eliminated. Okay? With our community, what we see is that a lot of people don't necessarily know what chiropractic is and even what do chiropractors do. Okay? We're so medically minded, you know, we have so many different ads on TV, we have so many different people just feeding into us drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery, that gets embedded into our mind. So the first time something goes wrong, what do we think?
Drugs and surgery.
We think drugs and surgery. Right? As opposed to getting to the root cause of these issues and addressing them at the root cause. Alright? So that's what we're out here for. What we want to do is that we want to bless you all, in that we want to give you a complimentary consultation and evaluation for anybody who's interested in getting their spine and nervous system checked out. Okay? So, you know, we give this away for you all for free, but it's not free for us. Right? We're taking out an hour of our time for each person in order to do this, so it's not free for us. We try to keep it limited as to how many people we allow under that umbrella. So all we ask from you all is that if you do want to get your spine and nervous system checked, and you're serious about it, that you do keep the appointment, just because it's, like I said, it's time out of our day and it's time that we can be using to help someone else.
Well, Dr. Lamar, thank you for that presentation. That was extremely informative, educational. All right, we appreciate it so much. So for those who are watching or listening on our Source Radio Network, how can they get in contact with you? In other words, do you have an email? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a number that they can contact?
Sure do. So, go ahead.
Okay, so our phone number is 216-459-7998. We are located on Mayfield Road at the intersection of Mayfield and Richmond, in the Jefferson Center.
Okay.
And so our website is www.huntercwc.com. And we are on Facebook if you look for Hunter Chiropractic, or facebook.com/Hunter Chiro, and you'll find our picture there as well.
All right. So we really appreciate you. We appreciate Subway for allowing us to eat fresh today. And for those of you who are listening and watching, you must contact Dr. Lamar and Dr. Valerie at least to try to get a consultation, because sometimes your issue is not what you think it is. It could just actually be your spine. So we appreciate you guys stopping out with us. All right. And so thank you for being with Keith in the Streets. Remember, if it's happening in the streets, Keith will be there. Thank you.